This week's Nifty Gifties on F5 Live Refreshing Technology is proudly powered by the Microsoft Store. Whether you're looking for a new laptop, tablet, Xbox, games, or a whole lot more, you can get them at the Microsoft Store. Remember, current students, faculty, parents, and active military can save up to 10% off almost everything. To browse the products and learn more about the discounts, you can go to f5live.tv/Microsoft. So we've talked a lot about the metaverse over the last, year or since it became a popular topic. And obviously that was the topic du jour before generative AI kind of took over. But metaverse is still happening in waves of whatever. And one of the things that we've talked about and been concerned about is the fact that, the difference between what Facebook/Meta is up to and what Microsoft is up to. And, everybody's doing their own thing and there's no consistency. You might get locked into an ecosystem with purchases. And that has been, one of our big concerns. The good news is there has been an organization kind of in an incubation phase that is called the Metaverse Standards Forum, similar naming to the High Definition Forum and the Ultra HD Forum and the 8K Forum. And the idea is to create a standard or a set of standards that everybody, at least all the members, will abide by. One of the best known ones in recent years is the Wireless Power Consortium. They created the Qi standard because there were originally three, and they were all kind of fighting each other. And then if you switched from a Samsung to a Nokia, nothing was going to work. And God forbid you had an HP or a Palm, it wasn't compatible with anything else. So WPC said, here's what we're going to do. And even Apple got on board. And we know Apple's not a big fan of standards. So that is what we're hoping, or what they're hoping will happen with the the Metaverse Standards Forum. Well, this week, the organization went from incubation. They were incubating as part of an organization that starts with a K and has completely slipped my mind, and I can't see it in the article. It's because it's not on my screen. The Kronos Group with an H. But this week they have gone independent. They are officially their own incorporated organization, which means that with that comes proper membership and, nonprofit status and a whole bunch of things that allow them to properly operate as an independent organization and get things done, do the lobbying that needs to be done to trade groups and industries and things like that. So this is a big move forward, right, Avram? Like I said, with inductive power and things like that, things didn't start to standardize until we got our standards committees. Hopefully, this will be a good sign.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we can hope that we'll actually see something more useful out of this environment, because, I mean, if we're talking about like what has been going on, it's just not been very with the metaverse. It's just not been. There's not been a lot going on. Like I was having lunch this week with our new CEO. We got a new CEO at our company, and they had like a big lunch. It wasn't just me. And I think we were talking about things that were fads that like came and went, and everybody was saying, metaverse, that sounds like a fad. Nobody's talking about it anymore.
Sure. Topic du jour, right? We've always got, and it doesn't matter whether we're talking tech or politics or whatever, there's always the hot topic, and not the retail store, but there's always the hot topic, whatever is the cool thing, and everybody throws their time and their effort, their money into it, and then, if it turns out to be a fad technology, 3D TVs, then all of that time and effort and research ends up just disappearing, because I don't even know if you can buy a 3D TV today, right? And that, interestingly, part of that came down to and that was an accidental reference. But some of that came down to a lack of standardization in 3D TV technology, and so that just kind of disappeared over time. And maybe with a standards thing, maybe the technology won't go away. Maybe people don't care. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a gamer. I'm a tech person. I cannot bring myself to care about VR at all. AR, I think everybody, all of our longtime people know, AR is something I'm very interested in. But for some reason, VR, I just cannot care. As much as I've tried. The fact that the headsets make me a little sick doesn't help. But I don't know. VR has never interested me. But I know, for a while, like you said, for a while it was a big thing, and then people just stopped talking about it. Facebook changed their corporate identity, and then that was the end of talking about the metaverse, possibly because of that. But I don't know. Do you think? I guess it's a great topic. Do you think it turns into a fad technology, or do you think we see it cycle back around?
Nope. I think it's a fad. I mean, it's unfortunate because I think the idea of VR is very solid. I mean, it hasn't gone away like
Sure.
3D, but
Sure.
um,
I mean,
I think
Meta's got a Quest 3 in development. So,
right.
I
I
mean,
mean,
they
so
haven't let go of the concept for sure.
my son has a MetaQuest, and he uses it for a few things.
Hmm.
There's not really a lot of great games for it. He uses it primarily for like Minecraft and VR. Uh, because everything with him is Minecraft, everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really don't, don't know what to say. It's just like you you do. So it's usable. It's not, the technology is fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the technology, but it's just not. Um, it's not really. That there's just not really killer software for it.
Yeah. And the software that's out there, like the metaverse software, right? Right now, they're all disparate. Like there's no continuity. We've got a standards forum. Maybe that'll change. There's currently no continuity, and um, it's essentially PlayStation Home, which also was a failure several generations of PlayStation ago. It. I don't know that Second Life on your face is a thing that's ever really gonna catch on.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I was the biggest proponent. You can go back to some of our shows years ago of, hey, people are going to be wearing headsets all around, and they're going to be wearing it for AR wherever they go.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to come home and hang out in VR, and it's going to be like Ready Player One. But I don't know. I mean, we could still get there. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's not. I think what's really lacking is not even the hardware; it's
Mm-hmm.
the software and
Yeah.
the compelling experience. And you know, I don't know. It's interesting because we certainly could have had a moment there. When people were in lockdown, a lot of people were in lockdown, and like, hey, that would have been a great time for VR to take off as a
Yeah.
social medium.
Yeah.
But uh,
But even the company that
now,
changed, but even the company that changed their name, their avatars didn't have hands or arms or legs or like it all felt like a Wii.
right? Yeah, they still can't. They still can't quite get it right. So I don't. I don't really know what to say about it. You know, you
May,
gotta like,
maybe, maybe if the goal isn't, you know, to completely control the entire thing, right? And there's some stuff that's standardized, maybe without duplicating efforts, they can actually put time and effort into the experience instead of putting time and effort into the technology, right? That because I think
yeah,
oftentimes that's one of the problems, right? Is when you've got 10 companies all trying to compete with each other on the same thing, you're spending all your time building underlying frameworks and communications pipelines and all the things. But if there's a standardization, like with Qi, if all of a sudden you don't have to worry about what does the coil look like in the phone, what does the coil look like off the phone, if all of a sudden all you have to do is worry about how to put it into the phone and everybody else can worry about their part of the experience, it works a whole lot better. And everybody's happier. And now, you find Qi products everywhere. You find inductive charging everywhere. That's not possible if you've got 10, 12, 20 companies all competing in the same space. Maybe that's part of what's been going on here is there's just been no way to build something compelling because everybody is building everything.
yeah. That I think that's fair to say. It's there, but I don't see a lot of evidence that there's going to be a lot of traction here. I think what's really going to happen is they're probably AI is the new thing. So now we're all, even though these two things really don't have are not mutually exclusive, right?
Right.
Because you could have AI that powers your VR, and one does really not have to do with the other. But I can
Sure.
totally see that the new the new hotness right now is that they want um, everybody in tech, everybody who's running a tech company wants to say that they're doing AI.
Uh huh.
So just like everybody wanted to say blockchain a few years ago.
Right. Right.
So I also think it's going to have its comeuppance, but apparently not yet. So
You mean blockchain?
no
Oh.
AI,
Okay. Yeah,
like
I agree with
AI
that.
bots.
Yeah, because
I,
once
I
again,
think. I mean,
it's it's a lot of repetition. It's a lot of people trying to compete in a thing that nobody quite understands. AI, a generative AI, is cool to people, and then just like 3D TVs, I'm with you. I suspect that for most people, it'll stop being interesting,
yeah. I mean,
and some other thing will become the interesting thing because that seems to be the way it works in every topic, in every industry, in every whatever. You know, one week
yes.
you're hearing about this thing, and then the next week you don't ever hear about it again, and you're on to something else.
Yeah, I mean it's unfortunate though because the hype is very well. We could talk about this later. The hype is very can be very dangerous, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are people who are losing their jobs. There are people who are making investments based on uh, bad advice that they get from this.
Yeah.
So there's real consequences for something for this, but um, you know, but I just don't think that it's anywhere near to living up to the hype. And we could talk about that in my
Yeah.
segment.
But you could be talking about AI, or you could be talking about the metaverse. I don't know that
Yes,
it's
that's
living up.
true.
I don't know that it's
It,
living up to
it's
the hype, and I don't know that it's
it's
ever going to
it's it,
actually take on.
it's not living up to the hype. But I'm not even sure if the problem is a technology problem
Right.
with with uh, with AI. Like, yeah, there needs to be better software. It's certainly not. It's not really a hardware problem. I don't think.
Yeah.
But I think it's like where are you going to get the cool kids to go, right? So like think about we've talked about this so many times, like who are the influencers
Hmm.
that are going to influence people to use it?
Right.
Like people influence like TikTok, like Twitter became a thing because there were, some influential people started using it and other
Yeah.
people followed them there, right?
Because
And
it initially carved out its niche as the place where you could interact with celebrities.
Right, and they were just fortunate that they actually got celebrities to go along with this,
Right,
because no one was, as far as I know, no one was incentivizing, giving them a great incentive to do so. Wasn't it like Shaquille O'Neal, like the first person or one of the first big names on Twitter or
Could be.
something? I think.
Twitter's never been my thing.
And
I don't know.
yeah, me neither. But although ironically, now I use it more than before, but and not because it's getting better, because obviously it's got a lot of issues. But I think the thing is, it yeah. So for Metaverse, I think what they need is very simple. They need to have something where they can convince someone who is an influencer or a bunch of influencers to come and
Yeah.
say, "Hey, this is the place to hang out with me," and then if you see the osmosis of people coming there, they'll have something.
Yeah.
That is the big issue. They need to have the osmosis of having something. If they don't, then nothing happens.
Yeah, that totally makes sense to me. Um, the standards board could be the thing, or standards forum could be the thing that helps bring the ability for a company to focus down. But as per usual, only time will tell. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of F5 Live Refreshing Technology. If you did, please subscribe to the channel down below, and of course hit the notification bell, because we know that subscriptions don't mean much on YouTube anymore. If you've got topics that you'd like us to talk about in the future, please comment them down below. And if you'd like to not follow us on YouTube, there's lots of ways that you can follow along with our content by going to plughitslive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows and all of the ways that you can watch, listen, and follow along.